In Israel, the Palestinian militant group Hamas is warning that clashes between rioters and Israeli police on the Temple Mount could escalate into a full-blown conflict. Our Jerusalem correspondent Daniel Cohen is in Bahrain with the Israeli ambassador to the kingdom, who says it's responsible for violence.
Peace in the Middle East. It's the holy grail for presidents, prime ministers, and diplomats around the world. Since the signing of the Abraham Accords, much progress has been made between Israel and her moderate Muslim neighbors. I sat down one-on-one here in Manama with Israel's ambassador to Bahrain, one of the first nations to agree to work with Israel toward building a new Middle East. New clashes on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem's Old City. Palestinian rioters light fireworks and throw stones at Israeli security forces working to restore peace.
What they do is outrageous from any point of view. They're desecrating one of the holiest places to Islam.
All this chaos and instability, according to Israel's first ever ambassador to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Eitan, is by design.
The stones they're throwing they're throwing stones at the Abraham Accords and the peace process.
It is true. We try to build a new Middle East, a new type of relationships, of coexistence, of understanding.
For Bahrain, that new understanding comes in the form of economic trade, security cooperation, and tourism. The Kingdom of Bahrain, a small oil-rich island nation of 1.5 million people, nearly all Muslim, led by King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Majesty speaks publicly about respecting Christians, Jews, and people of different faiths. Nae, speaking to a delegation of influential evangelical business and media leaders led by prominent conservative author Joel Rosenberg. The ambassador blames Iran proxy Hamas, the Gaza-based terror group with support from these rioters waving flags on the Temple Mount for trying to derail the Abraham Accords.
And we know that Iran is unhappy. They don't like it. They don't like us to live in peace. They didn't like it in the 90s, and they certainly don't like it now.
The ambassador says he and his counterparts in Bahrain and the UAE agree. They want to build a new bridge that gives young people hope.
I think that together, and only together, we can create a new reality and a new Middle East.
The ambassador says the goal right now is building trust between nations. If you think about how far relations have already come, a Christian delegation meeting with a Jewish ambassador in a Muslim-majority nation. The Abraham Accords, brokered under President Trump, already a success, with the promise of even greater cooperation in years to come.